Welcome back to Channel V News. I'm your host, Laura Conroy. Like I promised last week with my great catchphrase, you're here to learn a little bit more tea about Flying V. Let's get to it. Safety first. So what did we do this week as a region? This week, we locked up 57 starts and brought in 102 new wrecks. Couple of highlights. Team TVK out of Boston. This is awesome. They started the week with 6 wrecks on their P-Zone board, locked up all 6, and brought in new business. Boston IGB, they locked up 10 starts for 7K, and Jackie Nolan, a senior account manager out of Denver, was highlighted by Sam Kaufman as the gold standard this week. If you haven't watched Jackie's video or heard her story, I highly recommend it. Jackie, thank you for being such an inspiration. And in the spirit of thanks, on behalf of Channel V News, I wanted to thank our leaders of the region. You guys are working day in and day out to make sure our people are successful. So thank you for all your hard work. And to end on an exciting note, a couple of promotions out of the region this week. Lainey Gunther was promoted to Pro Recruiter for IGB Denver. In her first week as a pro, get this, she had 52 CPS, 9 subs, 2 interviews off, and locked up her first pro start. And Cam Charette out of Boston was promoted to sales Friday afternoon. Cam, Lainey, congratulations. Now over to my colleague Megan for weather updates and a couple more exciting highlights. Megan, over to you.
All right, awesome, Laura. Well, thanks so much for kicking us off. Now on to forecast. Last week, we were able to bring in around 104 wrecks, leaving our total number for this week across all 4 markets, 298 open wrecks in our system right now. For the number of final round interviews going into this week, that number is looking at 58 as well. So definitely going to be a big week for everybody. Now, what the weather is going to look like. It is actually going to be raining some future promotions into this week. And I did actually want to take the time to talk about one person actually out in Denver who some would say does eat like a 12-year-old boy. She does like to eat Pop-Tarts and drink Coca-Cola for breakfast almost every single morning. That person who I'm talking about is Holly McGregor. Welcome. You are Denver's newest designee. So extremely excited. Now, just some words from your sales manager, Amy Murray. She says, obviously, Holly, welcome into designee. For people that don't know Holly, she's Denver's favorite small town girl. She's actually one of the biggest Huskers fans. But just a little bit about Holly is that she's been averaging 3+ meetings for 6 weeks. Also has been absolutely killing the recruiting game as well. But Holly just gives maximum effort. On a normal day, she does, make around 50 to 60 calls, and then really just volunteers for anything. Is really just helping everybody, whether you're an account manager or recruiter. Holly is always there. So Holly, this obviously seems extremely well deserved. We are so excited for you, and I know everybody behind Flying V is behind you right now. We're so extremely happy for you and your success. Also wanted to give a huge shout out to Anthony Quintiliani out in Boston IGB, as well as Aphrodite Avramidis. They just recently got put into designee as well, so congratulations everybody. That is weather, but wanted to pass it along to Jordan now to give you guys any business or market updates. Here's to you, Jordan.
This week on Market Watch, we come to you with 3 tips from across the country that people are using to get creative in today's unique market. For our first tip, pull out those old P-Zone pictures. What some offices are doing is looking at old pictures of their P-Zone board to identify managers or companies that they may have forgotten about, and then reaching out to identify some new opportunity. For our second tip, we turn to social media. Some offices are using hashtags like work from home jobs or we're hiring to look through Facebook and Instagram and find opportunities so they can then reach out and set new meetings. Finally, although it may be warm outside, some offices are hosting a Corona Christmas to keep the spirit alive. They're partnering coworkers together who then send surprises or gifts to one another in order to stay connected while still remaining socially distant. That's it this week on Market Watch.
Hey guys, before we get started with this week's recipe, I want to congratulate Dawn Para and Alexa Langdon on their Titan nominations. Now let's get cooking. right, guys, to get started on the bolognese sauce, brown some ground meat. And to it, you're gonna add garlic, oregano, and red pepper flakes. Start to smell the garlic, add some red wine, everyone's favorite part. Once you've added your wine, you're gonna add your tomatoes, tomato paste, salt, and pepper, which is a really important step. Most home cooks tend to undersalt things. We're gonna bring this to boil and then let it simmer. And your final touch, add a little basil and some freshly grated parm to your sauce, and you are good to go. The sauce should look like once it's done, nice and thick and meaty, and it smells delicious. So stay tuned for next week with Luther Cooks with Heart for another great recipe.
Wow, Mama Luth, that recipe looks delicious. I'm gonna have to give it a go this week, but I hope mine comes out nearly half as good as that look, but we shall see. Anyways, folks, we have the hashtag Be the Light Play of the Week. This is Tom Peters, aka Tommy Turtleneck. My shout out for the hashtag Be the Light Play goes to a power combo out of St. Louis of Kylie Sullivan and Claire Amon. Let me tell you what they were able to do. So they floated a resume over to their manager. They got the interview. They were able to sell in the candidate with references, and they got the job offer. Here's the best part. They called John while he just finished fishing with his kids, and they were on speaker, and they offered John the job. He was so excited that his kids were just excited and happy as well that they jumped on the phone to thank Kylie and Claire for being the light for their father. Guys, that is what it's all about. So shout out to the both of you for that. Before we kick it into the top 5, I want to give 2 honorable mentions, both out of Denver. The first being Sarah Pleasant, who had herself a pleasant week. She is in IGT-AM. She was able to have 19 meetings, 7 of them new. She locked up a start for over 1,200, brought in 6 new recs, sold 2 of them to be exclusive, and set 11 new cold calls. My next one going into Matt Coates. He is a lead out of Denver as well. They call Matt the Goat Coates, who had himself a goat-like week with walking in 5 starts for over 3,500. He was able to have 40 CPFs, 8 subs, 2 interviews off, 5 in-houses, and 5 refs. The 4 of you, that is just a great week of production. I'm going to leave it to Keith to kick it off to our top 5. Let's hear and let's see you take it away, Keith.
Thanks, Tom. And you guys heard that right. It is a top 5, not a top 10 anymore. We are no longer doing a top 10. We're doing a top 5 performers of the week. We thought, why not add a little extra challenge, a little bit more competition, because who here at Insight Global doesn't like a little extra competition? So coming in at number 5, Carly Fleming, a pro recruiter out of St. Louis, IGT division. Carly had 7 submittals, 7 interviews off, locked up 4 starts for over 4K in spread. That is such a well-rounded week, Carly. Awesome job. Coming in at number 4, somebody that's no stranger to this list, Erica Michaels, an account manager out of Boston, IGT division. Last week, number 2. This week, number 4. She cracks the top 5 no matter what she does. Erica went on 25 meetings, 5 of which were new. She conducted a virtual lunch, and she brought in 7 exclusive recs and drove 22 submittals to her P-zone. She also had 7 interviews off and has 8 interviews confirmed for this upcoming week. She also has an offer out at Santander, as well as locked up a start for over 2K at Santander. That's an unbelievable week, and no, I am not getting away from saying unbelievable. So, unbelievable week, Erica. Coming in at number 3, Brittany Blaze, a pro recruiter out of Denver, IGT division as well. She locked up 4 starts for over 5K this week. But listen to this, guys. She ended the week with 19 P-zone submittals and 14 interviews off. I cannot wait to see what your week's going to be like this week, Brittany. Unbelievable week. Unreal. And coming in at number 2, somebody else that's no stranger to this list, Gareth Henry, an IGB account manager out of Boston. Listen to this week, guys. Last week, he was top 10. This week, he cracks the top 5 and comes in at number 2. 35 meetings off. 18 of those were with his top 20 accounts. He also added a new top 20. He had 7 submittals to his recs, 9 interviews off. He walked in 3 starts for about 3K in spread and locked up another 2 starts for $1,500 in spread. He also has 2 pending offers. 2 pending offers. Gareth, that is such a well-rounded week. Some would call it unbelievable. I'm one of those. So why doesn't everyone just say it with me? Unbelievable. And coming in at number 1, yep, that's right. I almost forgot the gun, but I didn't. That's the sound for the number 1 play of the week. And it goes to 2 people. Again, just like last week, it was a partnership out of Denver. This week, a partnership out of Boston. And it starts with Giselle Bamberg. She went on 21 meetings, 2 new, added a new top 20, and drove 13 submittals to her P-Zone Rex. She also had 7 interviews off and an offer out for a Raytheon hardware engineer, which has been a very difficult role to find here in Boston. She also set a hot lead for another account manager in Boston at Nuance from screening a candidate. And she locked up our very first start at Fidelity in 9 months. And that's where the partnership comes in between her, Giselle Bamberg, and Kat Keenan. They locked up the start at Fidelity for $1,300 in spread. And this is such a big deal because we actually are no longer on the tier 1 list vendors for Fidelity. And so they gave us a shot against their 5 other tier 1 vendors. And you want to know what this rec was? It was a snowflake architect. Those definitely don't grow on trees, but Giselle was not afraid of it. Giselle said, yes, we will fill that for you. Giselle brought it in. Kat saw that rec and said, that's something I want to work on. And on her first day working on it, Kat had over 100 calls and messages out and found 2 star candidates to interview for that rec. And what did she do? Against those 5 other tier 1 vendors, she came through with the best candidate. Her and Giselle, that partnership that they had, came through for Fidelity, and they locked up that start on Friday. Like I said, for $1,300 in spread. It is a huge victory for not only the Boston office, but the entire company at Insight Global, because it shows Fidelity that we're back and we're not going anywhere. That is an unbelievable partnership between Giselle Bamberg and Kat Keenan. Great work. You guys are the top performers of the week. And you know what? It's time to go to Laura Conway to wrap this all up. Back to you, Laura.
What a great show! Strap in next week for Channel V News. I'm your host, Laura Conroy. See you later.